Hello, people, church people. You know, I told you I was a minister, or I am a minister. And I talked to you about nonprofit. So let's just get on in it. You know, this is Candid with Kim. One of the things, and I did a blog about it. I have a blog. I put it in. It's in my comments. I put the blog link so you can look at it. And I talked about tithing, and it's like 2 or 3, and of course it's written. And you know, in these days, we don't like to read anything. But one of the things with as many scriptures that is in the Bible about money, there's always this age-old thing people half quote, misquote. It's not that money is the root of all evil. The Bible tells us the love of it is. Then you have people that want to blame or talk about the pastor and talk about their lifestyle and say that that's why people are broke in the church. And everybody should be accountable. Everybody needs to be a good steward from A to Z, from the head to the tail. However, to decide who determines who's a good steward or not is really not our problem. And really, you don't have to decide it if you be honest. People that are successful, people that do well, are people that are good stewards over what's been given to them. The Bible says that if you are faithful over a few things, I will make you a rewarder of many. And a lot of times tithing gets a bad rap because it's not that the person tithes that makes them broke or makes them without money. It is the other things that they do. It's the lack of discipline. It's the lack of money management. It's living above your means. It's saying that I'm living on faith, and because I think that I should have a certain thing or look a certain way, then I'll go out and buy it and then say God is going to do it, or I have faith. In other words, you see a lot of people at churches with the high-end cars and wearing the most expensive clothes because they think that that's what makes them look blessed. And if I look blessed, then that means that God is blessing me and I'm good. And that's not what that means at all. Blessing from God is to be in your right mind. A blessing with God is to understand your gift. The Bible says that your gift will make room for you and bring you before great men. A blessing from God is to be able to know his character and to be able to understand that no matter what situation I am in physically or financially, God, I still have you. A blessing from God is to be able to be in good health. The Bible teaches us that I would that thou would prosper and be in health, even as thy soul shall prosper. A blessing from God is being able to say no to something you cannot afford, so that you don't get into a situation that you're unable to be in to manage or maintain. And then you don't have to lie or call the devil or say the devil did it when really you knew you couldn't afford what you were doing anyway. Those are all blessings. A blessing from God is being able to be content in whatever circumstance you find yourself. Because when it comes to being a Christian, when it comes to being in the church, when it comes to being a church person, a leader in the church, it is a process that never ends. If you get to a certain level and you feel you have reached it, meaning you've climbed all the mountains you want, you made it to a level and you're good, you're not in God. You probably are just in the church, because in God there is no ending. He takes us from glory to glory. He is Alpha and Omega. He is our ending. And we don't end until we reign and until we rest with him. If you're stopping here, then you're already on your own path and you're doing your own thing. And that is not a God thing. And that's the way we do a lot with money. In the church, we always want to appear to be blessed, to be financially blessed. That's a big thing because number one, the business side of it, nobody wants to give in a church that's broke. It's very hard. I did a video before because I'm always talking about building, right? I'm always talking about building a business, and builders are rare. There are very few people who can get into something and build. Most people want to walk in to something that's already built, and they want to reap the rewards of things they didn't do. That's how most people are. Most people don't want to be in the trenches. They really don't want to do the work. So if you're in ministry, if you're in a ministry and it's small and it's growing, it's not a lot of glamour in it. You know, the church is going to have to watch its pennies. It's a lot. It won't look as glamorous. The sanctuary won't be as glamorous. So trying to invite people to the church is hard. It is a whole thing. So there are a lot of reasons why a church would want to appear to be more financially sound than it actually is. That's the way it works. Having said that, tithing gets a bad rep because most people do tithes. They might wait till that's the end and then they give their last in church, being dramatic. And then they run back to the church and say, my light's about to get cut off. They don't tell you what they did with the rest of the money or what else they have going on. They only give you bits and pieces. And then when the church says we're not a bank, the church gets a bad rep because it's like you're taking the people's money and they can't pay their bills. And that's a very simplistic, ignorant, and not accurate statement. One of the biggest things about church people, I'll say it again, is stewardship. We are not good stewards because we're so busy trying to give the appearance of what we think is financial success that we don't achieve financial success. I did a video not too long ago where I said it's easier to be legit than it and not work so hard and be a fraud. Instead of pretending to be wealthy, pretending to be financially sound, you could really be that if you just did some things differently. But most of us do not want to deny ourselves. We do not want to be disciplined in our money. We do not want to grow in money. We want to just snap our fingers, have it, and live a lifestyle. Never thinking that the lifestyle will end if you're not able to finance the lifestyle, if you're not able to manage it. The same thing I'm telling you in this about tithes is the same way it works in your business. People hear the word entrepreneur and they automatically assume that that person has money. And if that person is not living a lifestyle that they feel exudes money, they say they're not successful. Most millionaires, and like I tell you all the time, being in the accounting field, I have sat in rooms with people with money and they did not look like what I thought they would look like. As I grew up in it, I realized that wealth whispers. Honey, it's poverty that's out here screaming, that wants to say, look at me, when you really don't have anything to look at. Wealth whispers and lasts for generations. Poverty is running fast, quick, and is gone. The money is spent in seconds. Spent so quick you didn't even know you had it. And there's nothing left to reap, no investments. So when it comes to money management, people of God, churches, businesses, entrepreneurs, we have to change the conversation. We have to change the way we look at money, because then and only then can we really walk in the wealth that we're always talking about. It's been your girl, the Queen Bee of Doing Business Better, Candid with Kim. Watch, like, subscribe. We got to change if we're going to really have any money. Bye-bye.